People often associate good works and worthwhile causes with nonprofit institutions, but you have emphasized that your model is a for-profit one, not a nonprofit one. Can you briefly describe that model and tell us why the distinction is so important to you?
Well, that's how we became. I mean, we are not trying to create a nonprofit. That was not our intention. My intention was to persuade the bankers to lend money to the poor people. So my struggle always with the bankers. So initially I offered myself as a guarantor and then took the money from the bank and gave it to people. So it was an extension of banks' activity. When we saw that it's working well and the banks were not as enthusiastic as we were, we thought maybe we should have a separate bank created for this purpose. And finally we did that in 1983, called Grameen Bank, or a village bank. So we became a bank because it is a bank's activity. Now we lend money to the poor people, and people sometimes refer to us as an NGO. So we have to explain that we are not an NGO. It's not that we are saying, belittling NGO, that they are not good, I'm good. It's not like that. It's simply stating a fact that people get confused. Because we work with the poor people, then it must be an NGO. I said, no, we are a bank, and it's owned by the poor people. So the owners of the bank are the borrowers of the bank. So that's the distinction that we want to make, clarify what we are.
Well, obviously, Grameen Bank has grown dramatically since the time that you founded it. I've read that you now have operations in more than 100 countries, and you have 7 million borrowers in Bangladesh alone. But your success with Grameen has led to a lot of other people entering the microcredit area. Some of them are commercial banks, some are funded by venture capitalists. How has that changed the microcredit model, and can you explain some of the issues that have come up as a result of that?
Yeah, just a little clarification. We work, or at least the Grameen idea has been working in almost all the countries of the world, so it's now not right to say 100 countries. There are microcredit programs.
So you're even more successful.
At least the idea has a spread, that whether
right.
they are big or small,
Right.
Successful or not, that there are presence in all those countries. And right now we are nearly 8 million borrowers within Grameen Bank itself. So that way Grameen Bank also has expanded within Bangladesh. Yes, lots of organizations have come in, and we have encouraged them to come in and to do the job. NGOs have done that, and others have done that. When the word becomes popular and the idea becomes popular, many people want to join those kind of things. So the word microcredit became very popular. Microfinance became very popular. And those who were not using these words before, suddenly they started using it, like agricultural banks around the world saying that we do microcredit. They never said that before. So whatever they do, whether they are microcredit or not, this is a debatable subject, because we define microcredit, microfinance in a certain way, like this is a credit and a financial service to the poorest people, without collateral, without guarantee, and without any lawyers in the system. So that has to be very clear in our work before we call it microcredit or microfinance. And this is focused more on women, poorest women. So these are the aspects. If you look at the agricultural banks, for example, most of the agricultural banks around the world require collateral. You have to bring your land records or whatever it is. Similarly, savings and loan associations saying that we do microcredit. Cooperatives are saying we do microcredit. Those who are giving agricultural loans, commercial banks are saying we are doing microcredit. So we need to kind of clarify what is microcredit in its pure form, rather than bring everything else. And microcredit is always given to people for income generating activity. So whatever money you are taking, you are investing it to create an income source for yourself. There are many programs which give loans for buying consumer goods. And they say we are doing microcredit. They are giving money to buy a refrigerator or buy television. We say we do microcredit. We say, no, sorry, that's not microcredit. So we have to sort this out. And another aspect that I want to draw attention to, there are many microcredit programs going around, and they're advertising themselves saying, oh, this is a great opportunity to make money. There's a huge big field out there, a lot of people, and if you give money and you make a lot of money. And they encourage people who want to make money to join in and do that. Again, we say, look, our purpose is not to excite people about making money and getting excited about that. Our purpose is to help people get out of poverty. So everything you do, the focus is not on profit making. Focus is on helping people to get out of poverty. So those who are taking this as an opportunity to make money have to raise their interest rate to the extent that they make a lot of money. So interest rate issue becomes a sensitive issue. We are saying interest rate should be kept down as low as possible, preferably to cover cost. And if you want to make a little profit on top of it, it should be very modest profit, so that it doesn't look like this was your intention. So those who are doing that, using microcredit, microfinance for making a lot of money, we kept saying that these are not microcredit in the sense that we do it, because we came here to fight out the loan sharks, not become loan sharks ourselves. So they are moving into the direction of loan sharks. So we want to dissociate ourselves from them.
So how do you tackle that? Does some regulation, is that some regulation required, and what kind of regulation should there be?
Within Bangladesh, we have been talking about regulation. We have created within Bangladesh, government has created a microcredit regulatory authority. With our suggestions, they have done that. So they will be looking into the interest rate issue, transparency issue. Many people quote their interest rate in many ways, hiding the actual fact, how much they're charging. We said it has to be very transparent. All interest rates should be expressed in a standardized form, so that we can compare A and B, who charges more or not, or less. This is something that they have to clarify right away. And also to keep the interest rate as low as possible. This is an encouragement regulatory authority should be putting in. And personally, I have been promoting the idea that true microcredit interest rate should be within a particular range. I said cost of fund at the market price plus 10%. This is the green zone of microcredit interest rate. You are legitimate, you are doing excellent work. If it is cost of fund at the market price plus 10 to 15%, we say your interest rate is in the yellow zone. You're on the high side, but still we'll consider you genuine microcredit program. I will encourage you to push yourself back into the green zone. And if the other one, the cost of fund at the market price, plus 15% and above, then we say you're in the red zone, meaning that you are too high and you are on the wrong side of microcredit, you're moving into the loan shark zone.